Hey guys.
Stay down, came up, God made a way. Stay down, came up, God made a way. Stay down, came up, God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can see the way to handle, you can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit, ain't no way around it. And it's all, yeah, and it's all, yeah. Hey, pedal to the metal, headed to the top. Swerve around the block, it's been getting hot. Honey got a purpose, I can't never stop.
Hey guys, that is my song. Oh man, that is my song. Hold up. Let me put yeah, so what's up? Welcome back to Katika, Dear Katika podcast with your host Katika. This is a big celebration. This is a wonderful milestone for me because this is my 5th episode, and this is my 5th episode video live. All my other episodes 1 through 4 was just on my podcast. So I'm happy. I apologize. I have to put my phone down. Like I said, it's my first time having a just doing my podcast live, having a video, and I wanted to bring my phone closer to make sure that you guys can hear me on the podcast as well. So this episode is called Conquered because oh man, I cannot begin to tell you the seasons, and I say, well, yeah, there's different seasons I have experienced over the last year and a half, 2 years. And when I say man, I don't know what was going on, but I was losing jobs. I was in the hospital for months. Relationships were not, good. They were not. It was just, my life was very taxing and tiring. I cried most days. I cried most nights, and I'm the type, for those who do not know me, I'm very transparent. I'm very honest. I'm very authentic. I'm in tune with myself, and it took me a long time to get back to being this person, to being me, and being happy with who I am. I'm learning myself, and it's so exciting to learn yourself. And I want to focus on conquering your fears, conquering your triggers, conquering just life, learning how to live life, because life is not going to be pretty every single day. It's not going to be sunshines, flowers, love. Well, when I say love, meaning like, that puppy love, like that Valentine type of, like, heart balloons type of love. You need that longevity, that long lasting spiritual love. Yes, that will be in your life every single day, but you cannot expect life to be easy breezy, beautiful, painting on situation, because that's just the reality. It's not. I know I just dragged that out, but I get used to it. I'm learning how not to be long-winded when I speak. But I lost myself. I lost myself, and how I knew I lost myself because I was doing things that was not in my characteristic, that was not part of me. I was befriending people that I know did not deserve to be in my company. I was entertaining situations, whether it was professional issues or people, personal. I was just involving myself in things I did not need, that did not require my presence. I interrupted my own peace. I began to blame everyone else for why I was not happy, instead of taking accountability for the things that, one, I cannot change, and and that is okay. And I had to forgive myself and ask forgiveness from God because I was not walking in His understanding. I then had to also apologize to the people that is dear to my heart, that I want a everlasting relationship with, and then I began to rebuild those relationships. Now some are harder than other to rebuild, because when you are healing, when you are walking in your purpose, or at least when you are beginning to do the work and changing and conquering your fears, your perspective of life begin to change. You begin to open up your third eye. You start to look at life situations, life opportunities, life blessings, lessons a lot different. And it actually feels good. I don't know why we are so afraid to step over to do that work on healing, and understand that when we are healing, we also need to provide that grace, because we all going through the same thing. Maybe not at the same time, but we will all go through the same thing. And as humans, we need to learn to have more grace towards one another. We need to learn forgiveness. We need to learn accountability. And accountability starts within. Once you can forgive yourself and ask God for forgiveness for all your sins from the past, present, and future, because you're not perfect. Only person that is perfect is God. But if you learn how to repent, and I'm not the perfect Christian. There's no such thing as a perfect Christian, right? In my opinion, and I'm not gonna go into the whole religious talk. I do respect everybody's opinion, and I just ask for everyone to respect mine, and keep your comments positive, or to yourself. Just either way, I'm not gonna pay attention. But anyway, like once you just have that understanding, like, okay, I cannot control this, only God can, I'm gonna let go. Life becomes so much more peaceful. Like I discussed, or I touched on in, I believe, episode 3 and 4. I think the toughest time, I knew that it was time for me to, like, God was calling me, because things was just happening back to back, from my daughter getting bullied, and then becoming depressed, and me having to try to find the answer, and me being a parent, you don't know the answers, and the answers that you thought you do have, you're doing more harm than damage. So then you're beating up yourself, on top of dealing with your your child being angry at you because you're not helping them deal with their stress. And it can be a lot. And then on top of that, if you are a married man or woman, that can add stress to your marriage, on top of whatever personal stress you guys are going through. And then on top of that, I live with sickle cell's anemia. And I have yet to conquer, and I'm 34 years old, thank God. I haven't, before my journey of healing, I didn't understand what it meant to live my life without sickle cell disease controlling me. I want to live my life controlling the disease. This is a genetic disorder, or a genetic blood disorder. You cannot contract it through sexual encounters or drug use. This is only through genetics. And I, because of all the stress, I got sick. And at the beginning of this year, and I went to the emergency room. Now, what happens with sickle cell's anemia, my red blood cells is not like a normal person red blood cells, whereas it's round. We call ourselves warriors, because it's a fight living with sickle cell's anemia. It affects you internally, as well as mentally and emotionally and physically. But it starts internally. The pain that we deal with, our red blood cells are shaped like a sickle or a quarter moon, banana, however you want to describe it. And they're very sticky, especially the ends, and this ends is very pointy. So then and I will show a picture. Can I have a thing? The phone, can you type up sickle cell, red blood cells? Thank you. Sorry, I was asking my husband for assistance. Where was I at? I forgot. You don't have to whisper.
You was telling them about the sickle cell shapes.
Oh yes. So when it clogged, now our veins are very small, but because the sickle, the red blood cells are sticky at the end and pointy, sometimes they can get clogged, which can cause blockage in our vein, which prevents the oxygen from going through, and it pushes the blood and the oxygen, which causes discomfort and pain. All right, so this is a normal person's red blood cells. For example, my husband, handsome husband, he don't want to be on camera. Come on. He don't want to be on camera, but anyway. So he has the trait, right? And how did I find out? Well, how did we find out? Before when we started talking, before we made things official, the smart thing is we both went to, White Plains Clinic. We in New York, so we went to the clinic, got checked out and stuff, and I'm very thorough. So I asked him to check out from head to toe. Yes, he thought I was crazy, but how long? Like 14 years later, I'm married. I'm not that crazy, or he's the crazy one too. Anyway, yeah, so he has both, I would assume, because he has the trait. So he do have some of the sickle red blood cells, and then he also have, the regular. Whereas myself, I'm full-blown disease, so my red blood cells look just like this. Like, it's just like that. So if we have a kid together, our kid will most likely come out with the disease. Whereas our daughter is, his stepdaughter, her father does not have anything. Oh, here you go, babe. Thank you. Her father does not have anything, and she only came out with the disease because I have the trait, because I only have the disease. So, needless to say, it's a very, very dangerous, very concerning illness, because it affects our respiratory system. It can affect as we can have a stroke, just God forbid, out of nowhere. We often get jaundice in our eyes, like our eyes turn yellowish green. We lose organs. Like right now, honestly, I have a port. This is a power port, and I get into that. Actually, you can watch my documentaries on my IG. My IG name is Katika, CATICA.33. Katika is not a girl name. It's a queen, beautiful goddess name. Is my middle name. So what's up? You're not gonna know my first name unless you know me. No, but I'm silly. You guys will know. You guys will see. And the settings will be different. Side note. The settings will be different. I'm starting out. It's my first podcast video. So, and thank you for tuning in to my regular podcast audience. I appreciate you guys, day ones. And you guys, my day ones too. Just now in person. Anywho. So, yes, well, it often affects our organs. Like, I don't have a spleen. I don't have a gallbladder. I do not have an appendix. I do not have, I had a C-section because, my daughter, I had her at 24 weeks. She was 1 pound and 9 ounces. Tiny blessing. Tiny miracle. I should have named her name Miracle, because for her to be 1 pound 9 ounces, so tiny. All organs was fully developed. All organs were fully developed. They said I would have went full term. She would have been, a overweight baby, a big baby. But, God had other plans, and her birthday is actually coming up in the week, so I'm excited. My baby turning 1-3. I'm getting old. You see the grays. Anyway, I'm my brain's everywhere. Anywho, so January of this year, I was sick because of all the stress, everything I was going through. And I went to the emergency room. Not going to disclose the hospital, nor I'm going to disclose the nurse. However, due to a nurse negligence, and I will go further into details, watch my documentary, like it says on my IG page, Katika, CATICA.33. And I can get, more details. But anyway, due to a nurse's negligent, not listening to me as I was advocating for myself as a patient, that's my right to advocate for myself. This is my body for 34 years that God has blessed me with so far. And I know how my body operates. I know what happens with my port. Now, a port is a line that that is connected to my main line, my main artery, my main vein, and I can receive treatments, blood transfusions, etc. It helps because my veins are so small, which often happens with warriors. Now, my original port that I had for 12 years was on this side, but due to the negligence, my port was affected, and I didn't realize it was affected until a month later, because once you de-access it, I won't use until my next month treatment. And the day I went for treatment, as soon as they accessed it, I felt a lump. Me thinking it's scar tissue, because that happens when the port is not in use. Actually, that was the infection that I pushed through my body. And it was 10 o'clock in the morning when they accessed my port. My husband was 2 hours away. Like an hour and a half away. He was at work. when I arrived at my appointment by 5 o'clock, he was in front of me taking me home. I didn't understand what's going on. All I knew, my body was shutting down. Everything was in pain. This was February 19th, from February 20th until March 27th. I was hospitalized. I was in ICU. And like I said, there's details of what happened to me through that period of me being in the hospital. But along the line, something happened to me. Something happened. I'm not sure what, but all I know, when I stepped out the hospital, I was angry. Do you understand me? And this is real shit. This is real talk. Excuse my French. I was angry. Because why? This is like my third, fourth time surviving that. I had so much running through my mind, and I have a little girl and a man at home that depends on seeing me every single day walking through the door. And for me to advocate for myself and not be heard, and then on top of not being heard, I'm in ICU, and then I get a large burn on my leg. My husband and my best friend asked what happened, and my father, no one knows what happened. And things are happening to me, and I'm just like, whoa. And then I have to deal with the aftermath of being discharged and things going back to reality. Me and my daughter's still not getting along. I'm not working. Like, while I was in the hospital, my car got taken because I was unable to pay the parking tickets. We were struggling financially, and it's just, everything was just falling apart. Everything was falling apart. You understand? And you get to a point where I'm like, I survived for a reason, right? But I'm fucking angry. I'm angry. But if I be the same angry black woman, no changes will happen. Because I've been that angry black woman in the hospitals and public and private settings. Not really turning to God, trying to control everything, until I stopped and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. And no one really knows this, and I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but I have to be transparent, you know. I wanted to be done. I wanted to, commit suicide. And I know how that sounds so crazy, because it's like, why fight so hard to stay alive in a hospital to turn around and want to commit suicide? If I couldn't answer it then, but now, that wasn't me talking. Suicide wasn't my thought. That was the enemy's thought. That was the enemy trying to get me to give up. Me surviving the hospital was God's blessing. The moment I realized that was the moment I conquered my fears. And I said, I'm still going to be angry. You understand? I'm still going to be angry. But how can I be angry the right way? What can I do to spread awareness that hospitals need to start listening to us warriors? We're in pain. I'm so sorry that you're that ignorant and you lack that much empathy. I don't care about sympathy. Sympathy is washed up to me. You have to have empathy in your heart, because when you have empathy, you have understanding. And you understand that although you may not be in the same situation as me, you can imagine how it feels for a warrior like myself that has her own non-profit to help others. Have a daughter to raise from a princess to a queen. Have a king to create peace in the kingdom with. I have people around me that do love me. And because you see me for a few hours, you're too close-minded to understand or try to get to understand what I'm going through or get to know me. Not everybody's drug seekers. Not everybody's looking for drugs. I never used drugs. Never want to, never will. Never had the desire. Have I been around it? Absolutely. College and all. This is not me. And you can pretty tell the ones who are coming just to drug seek and the ones who truly need it. But if you open up your eyes, and I'm speaking to whoever ever fit the shoes that I'm handing out. I'm just so tired. I'm tired. So I had to conquer my fears. And once I noticed the grace I was giving myself and the forgiveness I gave the nurse, I began to understand God's understanding and begin to work on healing and walking in my purpose. I want to leave you with this. Life is not always easy. Finding peace may not always be easy. But giving up should never be an option. Why? Because imagine that same feeling of wanting someone to understand you and feel you and be there for you. You can be that very thing for someone else. That is the way you can then begin to experience the peace and the love in your life. And situations will not feel so heavy as much as they used to, because now you have the grace and the understanding that things will always get better and that whatever happens is in God's plans. Change is always good. Why? Because change removes what needs to fall off. Those dead leaves on your tree needs to fall off in order for your tree to flourish and grow properly. Understand who's your root understand who is the branch and understand who is the leaf. Understand yourself, understand how to love yourself. And I cannot stress it enough. Learn forgiveness, grace, and accountability, and love. And don't be afraid to spread your testimony. That's the way of spreading God's love and God's understanding. Like I said, I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm just now learning God. And I've been to church. But I'm so afraid not to learn him. And I'm so afraid to go back to the person I used to be, that he is in everything I do. Even when I'm upset, even when I do sin, I immediately take accountability and apologize. I apologize to my daughter. Yes, I do. I had to. I have to, and I continue to apologize, because you're not going to be a changed person overnight. It takes time. The same amount of time you became another person, the person you know you are not, it may take the same amount of time to undo all of that damage, all of that toxicity, all of that trauma, generational trauma, generational curse, everything. It's gonna take a lot of healing. It's going to be days where you question, like, damn, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Life is getting too damn hard. I'm angry. Nothing seems to be working. And as soon as you calm down, ask God for understanding, or at least ask God to increase your capacity to take on more, because he will never put too much on you that you cannot handle, bear, however you want to see it. I believe in you, whoever is watching this or hearing this podcast. I believe in you. Wow. 32 minutes, almost 32 minutes. All right. I love you guys. Bye.